Finally, we are talking about Quicksilver Storm in its final form. We have been playing with this exotic since Season of the Plunder. It's such a unique weapon though, literally a combination of an auto rifle, a grenade launcher, and a rocket launcher all in one. Matter of fact, when it debuted, it was immediately disabled for doing absurd amounts of damage. We actually did some damage testing even after it had been fixed, and it pumps out some pretty hefty numbers, especially for a primary. Now with that being said, guys, the reason why we're looking at Quicksilver Storm is because it now has an exotic catalyst, and this actually changes the damage type from kinetic to strand, which is both good and bad. We also have some bugs surrounding this weapon still, so today we're going to be doing a full review of this auto. Now first, let's talk about how to get it. Now originally you had to pre-order in order to get this auto rifle. That's right, pay to win, baby. However, now if you do not have it, you can still buy Destiny 2 Lightfall and the annual pass bundle, and then you can claim the weapon from Master Raoul in the tower. But the catalyst will take a little bit more time than that. First, you'll need to talk to Banshee and claim the quest. Second, you need to head to Nano-Entanglement and kill enemies with the grenade alt fire. Honestly, the terminal overload activity is one of the fastest ways to finish the step. And then third, you need to get 1,000 kills with Quicksilver Storm. This is to actually complete the exotic catalyst. 1,000 is quite a bit. No lie, guys, Shuro-Chi is your friend here. Matter of fact, Shuro-Chi, Orpheus Rig, literally tether all enemies and clear them wave after wave. I've actually showed us leveling up here a number of times. You want to actually open up with a tether on the stairs, tether that first group of ads to it, then proceed to have some siphon mods on so that you're getting orbs with all these kills, and you should get another super, and you want to pop that on the second set of stairs. Again though, you don't have to do it here. I find this to be one of the best places to level up pretty much all your crafted weapons, and when it comes to finishing exotic catalyst, Quicksilver Storm here, you're knocking out about 10% progress per round. Now let's talk about what Quicksilver does. What makes this weapon so special? Now at base, it's a kinetic exotic 720 round per minute auto rifle. Its mods granted a whopping 100 stability, making it super stable. It also has an exotic perk called Rocket Tracers, where landing multiple hits turns your next shot into a homing micro rocket. Now you don't really need to do anything special to proc this, just keep hitting an enemy and then you'll see those rockets whip out on the side. And I've actually gotten kills inside of Crucible with those little mini rockets. No lie, it's a hell of a lot of fun. Now this is exactly the same definition as nanotech tracer rockets. This is the Neo-Entanglement weapon origin trait, and as far as we can tell, it functions largely the same way. So why is this thing even an exotic? Well, thanks to the unique grenade chaser perk, firing multiple rockets actually loads a grenade every single time, and then you can switch to your alternate fire mode and you can shoot these rockets. You can actually hold up to 3 of these in reserves, loading 1 into the gun at a time. Now when we actually did damage tests a while back, when shooting the grenade launcher form, you can mash your reload button as you're shooting, and it auto reloads quicker and allows you to shoot faster. Again, for my perfectionists out there that are trying to like get the most damage out all at once, that's how you can get those 3 shots off so fast. Now let's talk about the catalyst. This changes the weapon's damage type to strand, and final blows with grenades creates tangles. So essentially 2 things, but with strand and now ties to tangles. First, let's talk about how it works. When visiting Coral here, without the catalyst, Quicksilver Storm benefits from the kinetic buff that came in Lightfall, as well as the exotic primary buff in Witch Queen. Do keep in mind, guys, Quicksilver Storm, at least for the making of this review, is bugged alongside Touch of Malice. Both of these weapons are doing 40% less damage against red bar enemies. Once this is fixed, you're going to be seeing even more damage. Now, still doing the same amount of damage against majors and bosses, it's only red bar enemies that is actually doing less damage. Now, the damage it's doing here on Carl, crits is 1,511, body shot damage is 1,008, its nanotech rockets are 6,011, and the grenade alt fire does 72,131 plus that 1,015 damage. Now, this gives us a primary fire DPS max 18,132. But now we need to talk about the catalyst, because this changes the weapon to strand, and we need to decide whether or not this is truly beneficial. Now, strand drops our damage down just slightly to 1,488 per crit, 916 per body. Our nanotech rockets also drop down to 5,465, which was really surprising to me. But the grenade alt fire actually stays the same at 72,131 plus that 1,015 damage. Now, our primary fire DPS max does drop down just slightly to 17,856. So essentially, guys, by equipping this catalyst, the weapon loses its 1.1 times kinetic weapon buff from Lightfall. The catalyst does make the gun weaker, and some of you may be asking, what the hell is the point? For what? Some green bullets? Some lousy tangles? Even though it does drop the damage just slightly, the benefits of this weapon being a strand weapon far outweigh its kinetic variants, especially when we start talking artifact perks. By becoming a strand weapon, this allows it to function with unraveling rounds, which unravels enemies. Unravel is similar to Jolt, in that unraveled enemies that take damage emit small green projectiles on themselves and nearby enemies. When Carl is actually unraveled, each projectile does an extra 2,452 damage, with multiple projectiles going off per second. That said, calculating DPS here is much harder to nail down, as those projectiles might not even hit the enemy that you're shooting and don't fire at a constant rhythm. But if you excuse our napkin math here, we can estimate 3 unraveled projectiles hit the intended target per second with sustained fire. This actually raises our Strand DPS of 17,856 by an additional 7,356 for a total DPS value now of 25,212. That's a 30% increase over its kinetic variant. Now, do keep in mind, it is dependent upon unraveling routes. After this season's artifact goes away, the only way we're still going to be able to activate this is through the fragment thread of propagation, which requires a powered melee and only grants the rounds for 8 seconds, which is definitely much less potent than allied unraveling, which lasts for 12 seconds. So for now, it is great. In the future though, pulling this off is going to become more situational. Granted, we could just get more Strand artifact mods next season and the season after. This season though, there is no reason not to rock a Strand weapon. We literally have a seasonal surge for Strand for most PvE activities. So you're doing increased damage for rocking a Strand weapon. Now, an interesting thing to note here, if you compare the kinetic and Strand damage results, you'll notice that the grenade alt fire damage is still the same. We're not sure if this is intentional or not. It's almost as if the grenades are keeping their kinetic buff when switching to Strand, or they never had it in the first place. We do know for sure that they are behaving as Strand projectiles though, because multi-kills with the grenade launcher on Strand does activate unraveling rounds. None of it really makes sense. Considering the weapon alongside other weapons are currently bugged, I would highly doubt that Quicksilver Storm is at the top of the to-do list, considering this is probably a result of Bungie and whatever they did to fix the insane amount of grenade damage that it was doing back in Season of the Plunder. Either way, whichever the version of the gun you do have, the grenades will still work the same. Now in PvP, none of this really matters. Both elements perform the same. Crits are 21, body shot damage is 14, the nanotech rockets equal 24 total, and the grenade alt fire is 121 plus 14. Personally guys, Quicksilver is just a very solid auto rifle inside of PvP, and there's something just so satisfying about getting those nanotech rocket kills. It is harder to get the grenade alt fire mode prepped, but they actually do massive amounts of damage to things like, well, the radiant swords, and if you could double up on them, I guess you can go for the kill with 2 shots, but you do have a delay there that could put you in a sticky situation. The main takeaway with Quicksilver Storm is that it's just a good feeling 720, like one of the best feeling ones in the game. And what's so beautiful about it is that sustained fire rewards this weapon. Now, like other rapid fire auto rifles, you're looking at a 0.77 time to kill value, but a decent body shot TTK of 1.17. Not bad. The only problem with Quicksilver Storm, as well as other rapid fire weapons, is that it does require almost all crits in order to reach that optimal TTK. What makes Quicksilver good is its ability to duel. Where this weapon does get eat up though, is within those ranges where it starts to run into SMGs. So our final thoughts here on Quicksilver Storm, it's a solid weapon guys, and it's gotten a lot better. I know that it's currently bugged, so a lot of people are like, who cares? This catalyst is not even worth it. It's doing 40% less damage to miners. What blows me away is that despite it doing 40% less damage to red bars, it's still doing so much damage. The nanotech rockets are a fantastic addition. The grenades synergizing with Strand and Tangles, and considering we have so many seasonal modifiers and seasonal artifact mods, there's just too much elevating this weapon right now. Like, I love using Actium War Rig with this and literally just laying on the trigger. Again, not every exotic has to be the meta. Quicksilver Storm offers a very unique and fun experience, so try it out for yourselves. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.